Hey, everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Robin Heron, and I am your Carnivorous Grandma. Welcome to Carnivorous Grandma Speaks. It's been a couple of weeks since I've been here. So, first of all, let me know if you can hear me. I'm just waiting to see who's going to pop in and let me know if I am audible, because that is something that seems to be a challenge for me. So welcome to the channel, you guys. I see that folks are popping in on TikTok. I got TikTok, YouTube, Facebook going tonight. Sometimes I can do that and sometimes I can't, depending on what's going on. But let me know if you can hear me. Am I audible? Also, let me know where you guys are watching from down in the chat. This is my weekly show that I have. It's called CarnivorousGrama Speaks. And tonight we're going to talk about, I've got 5 easy ways to start a carnivore lifestyle. So, hopefully you guys, this will be beneficial to you, especially if you're a person who has been watching on the sidelines and curious. I like to call it carnivore curious about carnivore, but haven't gotten started yet. So please let me know if you can hear me in the comments. That would be really helpful. And I would really, really appreciate that. Okay, so welcome back to the channel. If you have not been here before, my name is Robin Heron and I'm your Carnivorous Grandma. I am certified in nutrition in the standard American diet. Of course, I do not recommend the standard American diet because as we know, it is making us all very sick. Please let me know if I'm audible. If you can't hear me, let me know. If you can't hear me, I guess you don't hear me saying that. All right. So I'm also a certified health coach. I am Kilt's Health certified. And tonight I'm feeling like there's so much going on out here and a lot of conversation happening around carnivore and around sugar-free lifestyle. So if we think about what carnivore actually is, it is a sugar-free lifestyle. And so I don't know if you guys have been hearing this, but sugar is killing us. Too much sugar, overconsumption of sugar is literally killing us. So tonight I want to talk about, for those of you who are carnivore curious, you've been hearing about it, you've been thinking about it, you might be interested, but you just have not, decided to pull the trigger on it. I wanted to talk about how do you get started. And I wanted to give you 5 easy ways, but tonight I'm going to give you 2 bonus ways. So 7 ways to start a carnivore way of eating. We do not, or you should not, expect to be an expert. But what I really want to talk tonight is how to really, truly get started and not overthink it. We need to just go ahead and try. So, you might be out here watching all these YouTube videos. You're hearing all the influencers. They're talking about carnivore. They're talking about living a sugar-free lifestyle. You might have listened to a ton of podcasts. You might have joined Facebook groups and, you've doing all this research, but you still have not gotten started. Or maybe you did try it. You tried it for a couple of weeks. You tried it for a week and you're like, this does not work for me. I don't feel good. I don't feel good on it. I can't eat all that meat, all the things that we hear, right? We hear so many things about carnivore. Like, people are afraid to try it because they're like, I'm not going to be able to poop. And we find that is literally just not true. So, what we have done is we have spent many years continuing to eat way too much sugar. Okay. And when we talk about sugar, we're talking about, so if you think about fruit, do you think about a fruit as a sugar? You should. Even a vegetable, you should think about a vegetable, or carbohydrates. When you think about a carbohydrate is literally a sugar. So we're eating too much sugar and it's causing chronic inflammation. And that chronic inflammation progresses into a variety of health states that we don't want, right? We call them a lot of times diseases of aging. But literally, you do not have to have those conditions if you eat the proper human diet, you move and you get rest, and all of the things that you need to do to be healthy. So we spent all these years eating way too much sugar. Even from birth, you want to think about this. When a baby is colicky, what do we give them? We give them a sugar water bottle, and of course, it soothes them because sugar is a drug. Did anybody know that? Sugar is an actual drug. So we spend years inflamed. Spend all this time exhausted. We're dealing with all these cravings. In the afternoon, I got to have me a candy bar because I'm going to flake out. I'm going to get tired, right? And then we spend all these years metabolically unhealthy. But we somehow expect that when we try a carnivore diet for a week or 2 weeks, that all of that is going to disappear overnight. And that's just really not the fact. Now, some things will disappear overnight and will work like a miracle. But that metabolic health state that we're in, it's going to take some time for that to be to reverse itself. So I want to talk about, let's simplify it. Let's talk about some simple steps that we can do. If you are interested in carnivore curious, you should try it. What are you waiting for? So one question that I thought about as I thought about this topic tonight is, why would anyone want to try carnivore? I know, you're thinking, you've been taught that it sounds extreme. We're going to just eat only meat, because we've been hearing to eat everything in moderation, eat the rainbow, right? We've been taught that. We've been taught that balance is the key, and that whole grains are healthy, and that fat is dangerous. But what's happening to us in real life, and if you look around yourself, you will see this, right? Is that people are dealing with chronic obesity. We are going on yo-yo diets. We will try a diet. The diet, it may work for a time. And then as soon as you switch back to your normal way of eating, you are basically back to where you started or even worse. We're dealing with chronic inflammation. Our joints don't work. Our eyes don't work. Our brains don't work because we have so much inflammation in our bodies. We're dealing with chronic pain, fibromyalgia. We're dealing with all of this pain. And then I had anxiety, like debilitating anxiety, to the point where I thought, okay, I'm going to have to stay inside my house. I'm not going to be able to go out. We have autoimmune issues. We got food, food obsession. Is anybody like this, where you're thinking about food 24/7? You're constantly worried about what I'm going to be eating and what am I going to have next? And while you're eating one meal, you're planning for the next meal. Anybody doing those kinds of things? That's called food obsession. And it's definitely problematic. So I see Sean is here. And so hello to you, Sean. And then just let me know where you're watching from down in the chat. That would be really good. So poor sleep, brain fog. Some of us don't even know we have brain fog until we actually go on a sugar-free way of eating and then realize, oh my gosh, yes, I did have a lot of brain fog and I was struggling with the way that I was thinking. We've got chronic hypertension, and then we're dealing with a lot of emotional eating. So we've tried a lot of different things. We tried low fat. We tried calorie counting. We did all the diets. We did the meal replacement shakes. Anybody know about Slim Fast? Slim Fast, or these protein shakes. Beachbody, they had shakes, and Herbalife, they had shakes. I did Herbalife for a while. It worked really well. But as soon as I went off of it, I gained all this weight. Some of us have tried Weight Watchers. Some of us have gone vegan or vegetarian. Some of us have done Mediterranean diets. And then now we have this wave of prescription medications that people are, somebody says it's alien. Aliens, yeah, the aliens are causing this. Yeah. So we've done all the things, right? And we still don't feel good. We still have all these illnesses, and we're struggling with our health. I remember, who was it that said, let food be thy medicine? Food is medicine. when you use it properly, right? So, when you remove sugar, processed foods, refined carbohydrates, seed oils, and then you're eliminating the constant snacking because you're no longer starving 24 by 7, and you eat a primarily animal-based, nutrient dense way of eating, your body will start to respond differently, right? So a lot of people find that the hunger stabilizes, those cravings calm down, energy improves, inflammation decreases, mental clarity improves, and for some people it becomes the first time in their life that they have felt actually in control of food instead of food controlling them. So I don't know if you felt this way, but I really, really did. I felt like food was actually controlling me. You may know my story. You may or may not know my story, but I've done all the diets. I've yo-yo dieted in my entire adult life until I started carnivore. And basically, none of those things worked for me. None of it worked because the food was controlling me. I was having carbohydrate cravings and was always falling off the wagon. All right. So let me just say that I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a medical professional. And this is not medical advice, but I'm someone who has experienced major improvements in my life through this type of a lifestyle change. So I started carnivore February 22nd, 2023. That is a little bit over 3 years ago. And I've seen a ton of improvements. So I had chronic eczema. If you guys want to see my pictures, you can go to my page. I think Carnivore Cutie has a video out here with of me with my two black eyes and this dark circle around my mouth that I thought was eczema, but turns out to be my body saying, "Hey, you're metabolically unhealthy. You need to do something." Right. So that chronic eczema and hand eczema, which I do still experience sometimes if I get some of the wrong things, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. IBS, like I struggled with IBS, and I know that a lot of people have IBS different ways. Some people will have like constipation, some people will have diarrhea, their stomachs they don't work right. Yeah, and so that IBS is something that can be eliminated through food. Hypertension was another thing that I experienced and eliminated through a change in my dietary pattern, my eating pattern. I already talked about the anxiety. I was struggling. I couldn't even go outside. I didn't want to drive my car. It was terrible. I couldn't drive over bridges. I would find myself slowing down. Now, if you're getting ready to cross over an overpass, I don't think the best thing that you could possibly do is slow down and almost stop before going over it. But this was my condition. I was so anxious. I had so much anxiety about crossing over. And I've always had a fear of heights since I was a kid. I remember this is just bringing back a memory of when I was a child, and we used to have to take these fire escapes down when we had fire drills in school. Did you guys have that? And we would take the fire escape, and the fire escape was graded. It wasn't like concrete steps. It was a grate. And that was terrifying to try to go down that. So I've always had a little bit of fear of heights, but it was getting to the point where it was debilitating. And I was like, just not able to function in my normal life. Also, obesity. I recently am no longer obese, and so that is something that I've really kind of dealt with all of my life since age 11 when I started dieting. And then, of course, inflammation. One of the things that I do have is I have arthritis in my knee, and I wish I would have found this way of eating earlier, and to see if it would have really not degenerated to such a degree. So, but I do have arthritis in my knee. All right. So many other people, you guys are seeing them. You're seeing the influencers out here talking about this. You seeing, if you watch Dave Mack's channel, you see that all these thousands and thousands of people are changing their lives and experiencing significant health improvements in their quality of life and their health due to changing to a sugar-free, animal-based way of eating. And so that is why you should try it. If you have any kind of illnesses, ailments, if you have anxiety, mental illness, if you, so many different disease states are being touched by this way of eating. And so, yeah, you need to try it. All right. So before we get into the 7 steps, let's talk about why people don't start. Like, what's the problem? I'll tell you what my problem was. I thought it was crazy. I thought it was insane. It did not make no sense for people to be eating only meat. I believed the propaganda that told me that eating meat is bad for you. Meat sits in your stomach and rots, and you're going to be sick if you do that. I believed that too much fat was problematic. And I believed that all those 100-calorie packs made more sense than eating a steak. So I believed that, right? And so those ideas are problematic because it's just not true. And so if you go back and look at my nutrition transparency series, you'll understand that we have been fed a bill of goods around food and nutrition. And over 130 years ago, they knew that carbohydrates make people fat. Carbohydrates were problematic, but yet we continue to receive that into our food stream. And that is, you look around yourself and see how this has damaged us, right? So, yeah. So people have to really just decide, I'm going to try this. What does it take? It really takes courage to try it. And so you got to decide, I'm going to try it. You got to let that fear go and decide, I'm going to try it. Now, when you decide you're going to try it, you don't have to say it's forever. Like when I started, I knew that I would do 90 days, but I say that 30 days is the minimum. If you tried carnivore for 2 weeks, you didn't try it long enough. You need to give it at least 30 days, at 31 days, because if I would have said 30 days, I wouldn't still be doing it today, right? So 31 days, 90 days is going to be optimal. You're going to be able to see the benefit of actually transitioning to a fat-based way of eating and your body learning how to burn fat for fuel again, right? So you need to have time. You need the time for your body to actually heal itself, which is incredible that the body can heal itself. Somebody's asking, what can I expect to happen? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to get to it. All right. So let's get into those 7 steps, right? The first step has got to be decide, right? It's a simple step that says, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and set myself up to try this. And like I said, it takes courage to try it because we have been taught that basically we, have been taught all the wrong information about what we need to be eating for health, right? So our nutrition guidelines have been upside down and backwards. And we really need to take the courage to be able to go ahead and try it. You got to realize that you don't have to have every single answer before you start, but what you need to have is a willingness to try it, right? So you already know that the standard American diet is not working for you because you're still going on all these diets and trying all these different things to lose weight. And I don't even know if you're considering the fact of healing. Like, are you I didn't even think about that. I was just wanted to be smaller. I wanted to be able to get down and maintain my weight at what I thought was a proper size for me. And never thought that food would be the thing that would heal me. I never thought that. So that's something that you need to realize is that food is medicine. Food, we talk about this all the time on Hey Sister Girl, that food is information. The things that you're putting into your body is processing it. It doesn't say like I'm eating 100 calories of Oreos, or I'm eating 100 calories of broccoli, or I'm eating 100 calories of steak. It takes each one of those things and processes them as what they are, whether it's sugar or fat, protein, it's going to process them, right? So your body has already been talking to you. It's already telling you, you got to change something. You've got to do something different. And at some point, we need to stop negotiating and make a decision and set a goal. Is it going to be 30 days? Is it going to be 90 days? 90 days to me is the preferred time frame, right? And then during that time, stop changing the plan. Just go on and do it. Do it for 90 days. It's going to be challenging. Trust me. If you're eating a lot of sugar and carbohydrates, you're going to want to maybe titrate down by going on a keto diet, or maybe you want to go ahead and jump on off the cliff and go carnivore, but realize that you need to supplement with electrolytes. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And that you need to realize that those cravings are going to kick in. Okay. So stop looking for the loophole and stop treating yourself every weekend. Did anybody else do this where you just kept falling off the wagon on the weekends? I did. I would go off every single weekend. If I had lost 5 pounds during the week, I'm going to gain those 5 pounds back on the weekend. How crazy is that? It's a definition of insanity that I just keep on doing that over and over again, right? All right. So stop restarting on Monday. Give your body a chance to actually adapt and be consistent. Okay. That's number one. Make a decision. So number two has got to be like, what does your environment look like? Once you've decided, you need to really think about how you can set up your environment for success. So the problem is if it's in your house, you're probably going to eat it. And so I know that it's not possible for everybody to clean their house out of all carbohydrates, but this is something that you need to consider. How do you put friction on those things that you do not want to do? How do you put friction there? Make it more difficult for you to get to it, right? So it's not all about discipline, but it is about environment as well. So discipline is a huge component, but environment really, really matters too. So if your kitchen's full of cookies and cereal and candy and chips, if you're a mom and you're used to eating everything that your child left over, your child didn't eat it, so you're gonna eat it. I don't know if that's y'all, but it was me. That the child didn't finish those chicken nuggets, so I'm going to go ahead and eat them. The child didn't finish their hamburger, so I'm going to go ahead and eat it. So those things can be problematic, right? So if you have all of that in your face, it could be really, really difficult. You're making things harder for yourself. So put friction there. Don't be afraid to throw away your child's leftover chicken nuggets. It's going to be okay, right? So I do understand not everybody can do this step. If you got family members in the house, they got all kinds of stuff. It might not disappear overnight, but you do need to try to reduce, eliminate your exposure to all of those things that you love. And so make your environment support your goals instead of fighting against them. All right. So sometimes your success is going to start with cleaning out your pantry and getting rid of stuff if you can. The second thing is to really, really start simple. I mean, the third thing. So the first thing was make a decision. Second, clean out your pantry, put friction against those things that you don't want. And then step three is to start simple. The most simple, basic thing that you can do is beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. It is so good. It is so perfect. And it does not require a lot of decisions or thinking about what I'm going to eat. So we don't need a bunch of fancy recipes. We don't need to go exotic on our meats. We don't need a complicated meal plan. Keep it simple and start basic. BBBE, which is beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, works so good. And it's a great thing for people who are getting started on their carnivore way of eating. So some people don't eat pork. That's okay. You can do beef bacon. Turkey bacon is kind of lean, but you could do turkey bacon if that's something that you enjoy, but make sure you're adding some fat because this carnivore is a high fat, moderate protein protocol and zero carbohydrates, right? So this simplicity of a BBB&E, it means that you don't have to make decisions. You get your ground beef, get your eggs, get your bacon, And then maybe you get a couple of steaks and then you get butter. And that is as simple as it gets. It gets very, very simple, right? So be consistent. You can eat that every day and be fine, right? So what happens is a lot of times when you go on a change your kind of way of eating, your eating pattern, you want to recreate all the foods that you used to do. I did this when I was on keto. I recreated a lot of stuff and it was good, y'all. I even recreated dressing for Thanksgiving and it was good. It was good. But I did not need all of those fancy recipes. I found out that this simplicity is amazing, right? So I could go out in my freezer right now and take a steak out, put it in the air fryer, and be eating it in like 10 minutes. So that's really, really, really simple, right? Okay. So in the beginning, we just don't need all that drama. Keep it simple. It's really powerful. You're going to eat animal-based foods. So if you don't want to do a BBBE and you love chicken, add chicken, but you want to add the fatty piece of chicken. You want to go ahead and eat that chicken thigh with the skin on. Yeah, go ahead and eat that. What you're going to do is over time, you're going to learn your hunger signals. Well, when are you really hungry? We were eating 5, 6, 7 times a day, and we lost the ability to understand our own hunger signals. Then we also will learn about satiety, like eat until you're full. Okay. So that's the next thing I want to talk about. Step 4 is make sure you're eating enough. We have been trained and taught that we should eat these very small portions. You're going to eat meat the size of a palm of your hand, right? This is not enough food, right? It's a big mistake for you to stop eating while you're still hungry on carnivore. Hunger is going to be your enemy, right? So this is a big mistake. Don't do that. Make sure that you're eating enough. We're trapped in the diet culture. We think that we're supposed to eat small and start carnivore, and then we're trying to still restrict our calories. We're avoiding fat. We're eating tiny portions and staying hungry. And then wondering why we are miserable on carnivore. When I started carnivore, I ate all the time as much as I wanted until I was full. Period. And that's basically how I started it. If I want to eat a pound of ground beef, I'm gonna eat a whole pound. If I'm stopping by McDonald's and I'm gonna get burger patties, I'm gonna get a whole pound worth of them, or maybe 2 pounds worth of them, depending how hungry I am. So make sure that you're eating enough. Let them tiny portions go. Eat enough food. Your body's trying to heal itself. Healing requires nourishment, and it does not mean that we're going to eat all day long. We're going to eat maybe 1, 2, or 3 meals a day. When you're starting, you can start out with 3 meals. I think you will soon find out that you don't no longer need 3 meals. You're just going to eat naturally less meals a day as you go along because you're eating to satiety. You're getting full and your body is learning to enjoy that satiety signal, right? But when we undereat, then our cravings increase, our binge eating returns, our energy crashes, we get stress hormones because we're undereating. And that what causes people to quit, right? And so I want you to know that animal foods are incredibly satiating when you eat enough fat and eat enough food. So stop trying to survive on those tiny portions while your body is transitioning off of sugar. We need to go ahead and eat. Go ahead and eat. Number 5 is to prioritize hydration and electrolytes. We want to make sure that we stay hydrated. So here's the thing. When you eliminate sugar from your way of eating, right, you need to maybe start out with supplementing with some electrolytes. What I'm talking about is sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Because when your carbohydrate drops, your body releases water. All that inflammation that you're carrying around, water weight, they call it, is going to start to flush off through urination. And with that water loss comes mineral loss. So a lot of people, you've heard about it, the keto flu or the carnivore flu, right? And so this is completely avoidable by supplementation with electrolytes. So you're talking about headaches, dizziness, fatigue, muscle cramping, weakness, and of course, we have heard it called the keto flu because we're going into a ketogenic diet. It's called keto flu. And just so you know, carnivore is a ketogenic way of eating. So, a lot of the time when you are transitioning into a sugar free or animal based way of eating, you have an electrolyte issue and you need to do that supplementation. So, make sure you're salting your food. Now, they told y'all salt was bad for you. I know they did. I know. I heard them. I heard them when they said it. But we need to make sure that think about this. And I say this all the time. If you go to the hospital today, in most cases, they're going to put you on a sodium drip because most of us are dehydrated. They're going to try to hydrate you quickly, right? So we need sodium. Our bodies need sodium. So make sure you're salting your food, hydrating properly, and paying attention to that sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Now, a lot of carnivores will talk about supplements like Element, LMNT, or Salty. Somebody says, why do I crave sugar so badly, like soda, constantly? Because you're still having it. If you are craving sugar, it's because you're still having sugar. When you eliminate sugar from your diet, you will stop having those cravings. So go ahead and eliminate that, and then you will see that those cravings will start to reduce and go away. All right. So you need to be hydrated. You make sure that your transition goes smooth. Avoid the keto flu by keeping yourself hydrated. And we literally have been underhydrated because we have been told to eliminate sodium, and that's hugely problematic. Now, I want you to stay away from the Umbrella Girl salt. Y'all know her, the one with the little umbrella. If you look on the back of that box, or even some of the salts like table salt that is in your grocery store, look on the back of there and see, do you see something on there that is sugar, right? So yeah, they're putting sugar in the salt. So get yourself a good sea salt, a good real salt. I use Redmond's real salt, but you don't have to use that. You can go to your grocery store and pick up a nice, good salt, a good quality salt, and go ahead and salt your food. All right. So we want to make sure that we're supporting our body with electrolytes. So step 6 is about expectations, right? So we need to give our bodies time to adapt, right? It's extremely important that we realize that our bodies, however old you are, is how long your body has been relying on sugar. You've been a sugar burner all that time, and your body is dealing with that, right? So at this point, when you become carnivore and you change your lifestyle, you are going to become a fat burner. So you're going to go into a ketogenic state, which means that your body is burning fat for fuel. I just took my ketones before we got started. My ketones, it's like 6:00 p.m. My ketones were at a 2.9. So we want to be in a ketogenic state, right? And so we've been running on sugar pretty much all of our lives. And suddenly we're asking our body to efficiently burn fat. It takes time, right? So over this adaptation period, you might experience cravings. You might experience fatigue. You might have some mood swings. You might be feeling emotional. I'm going to tell you, when I started carnivore, I felt very emotional about the fact of the foods that I needed to give up. And here's the thing. I found out over the course of 2.5 years that I cannot tolerate cheese. Now, dairy is part of a carnivore way of eating for most people, but for me, cheese, I felt so sad. It was like losing a friend, to have to give up that cheese, right? So you may feel emotional. We have emotional attachments to food. That's why if you feel sad, you're going to eat something. What is that go-to thing that you always choose to go to when you feel sad? You feel happy, you're going to eat something or drink something, right? So those things don't automatically mean that something's wrong, right? We're experiencing a sugar withdrawal. We're also experiencing a withdrawal from those hyperpalatable processed foods. So, those things that are in boxes and bags and they're all flashy. The thing that pops to my mind is, and I was just talking about Cheez-Its with my daughter. I made some cheese crackers, which I can't eat, but I made some of that for the kids and for my husband and my daughter here. And so, it tastes similar to a Cheez-It, but better because it's just only cheese, right? So Cheez-Its, Doritos, crackers, cookies, all those things are highly processed and highly palatable, and they are literally designed to be addictive. So, yes, the food scientists are working it up in a lab so that you will keep coming back for more of that thing, right? So we're also getting a constant hit of dopamine with all of this sugar. Dopamine is a feel-good hormone, right? We're getting constant stimulation from our dopamine as we are eating this high sugar diet and highly palatable foods. We're constantly getting a dopamine hit. So emotions are a big player in it, right? So food has been comfort, it's been reward, it's been stress relief, it's been entertainment and coping. And sometimes we don't want to stop coping with our lives with food, right? So that is a thing that you can kind of expect to happen. Jesus loves you too, Papa Brad. Jesus loves you. Yes, that is true. So there can be an emotional adjustment. Stay the course. Choose your time frame. Is it going to be 30 days? Is it going to be 90 days? And don't quit before your breakthrough happens, right? So I'm going to tell you at day 31 of carnivore for me, I eliminated IBS that I had been dealing with ever since I can remember, since I was a kid. And so that happened day 31, but day 1 through 30, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this. So stay the course. All right. So number 7, this is another bonus one. This is get your support group together. Understand why you're doing this. Do you have health issues? Something that you're trying to deal with? Are you overweight? I feel like overweight is a thing, but I'm not sure necessarily if overweight can be a big enough why, but you determine what your why is. What is your big why? What is the why that makes you cry, right? And when I started carnivore in February 22nd, 2023, I thought I was doing it for weight loss. That's what I thought. And it took 3 years for me to actually reach the goal weight that I thought was my goal weight. So weight loss turned out to be so secondary to everything else that happened. And so that is the thing, right? So understand your why, get your support group. Community does matter. And I know that you see all these influencers out here talking about carnivore, talking about living a sugar-free lifestyle. Community and support does matter, right? And that encouragement matters. Because there's days when the emotions get loud and we like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. That is normal. And you want to have somebody that you can talk to, right? So your why matters. Why are you doing it? Yeah. Do you want to be able to get down and play with your grandchildren? I was doing splits with my grandkids last summer. Like, what? That's crazy. And I'm about to be 60 this year, y'all. I'm about to be 60. So, do you want to be mobile? Do you want to have your brain be working all of your life? That's one thing that I really, really want because I've seen how dementia and Alzheimer's has played out within my family, right? So, what about energy? What about freedom from food obsession? That is so awesome. Make sure you write it down. Write that why down. And then, realizing that motivation changes from day to day. Motivation is a fallacy. Motivation is going to get you only but so far. It's not going to take you through. It's not going to help you stay the course. So we need discipline and we need to understand what our why is because our motivation, like, let's say, did you join a gym at the beginning of the year? How many times did you go to the gym? Are you still going? Motivation fades. You need to have the discipline to stay the course. Make sure that you have that purpose, right? And so for me, I have support groups that, of course, you guys know that I'm a health coach, I'm Kilt certified, and I do health coaching. So if you're looking for that kind of support, you can come into my Carnivorous Grandma, my CG health coaching, and we'll work with you. You can find that on my website, CG Health Coaching. And so, yeah, so you can find more information on that. I have a Facebook group that you can join. It's called Hey Sister Girl. I also have some Marco Polo groups that you could join if you want to have that kind of connection. So those are things that you can look at and consider. But you definitely need to have community. You need to have community and support. All right. So, a couple things that I want to call out as mistakes that a bit beginner mistakes. So, number one is that we expect instant results. We are used to dieting. If I want to lose 10 pounds in a month, I know how to lose 10 pounds in a month. This is not that, right? We're not expecting instant results. It's not magic. It's really based on physiology, like how does your body work, right? Number two is that we start fasting immediately. Like we aggressively want to fast. I'm telling you, don't do that until your hunger is stabilized, right? Until you are good and fat adapted and you like, I'm naturally fasting, right? So don't necessarily have to incorporate intermittent fasting on day one, right? So don't jump into that. Slow down. Go ahead and eat. Eat. Eat until you are satiated, just eating the right foods. Number three is going to be obsessing over the scale. Y'all, how many times I know I have some friends in here that get on the scale every day. I do not get on the scale every day because I am not letting girlfriend tell me who I am. I'm not letting the scale tell me who I am. I got a bunch of messages over here. Sorry, y'all. Yeah. Our healing is bigger than the scale. And like I said, I started out on carnivore thinking that I was doing it for weight loss. And I lost about 20 pounds over the course of my first 3 months. And then the rest of the weight that I've lost over the course of the next 2.5 years, 3 years. Yeah. So, it's not about weight loss necessarily. Some people will lose a lot of weight fast. Some people will not. It's about your own physiology. So just remember that this is not magic. Right. Are you cheating? I'll tell you about my time on keto. I did 10 years of keto. And then 5 of those was keto, good, strong keto. I learned how to make all these different recipes and do all the things. I was doing great. And then 5 years was what I like to call Cheeto, where I just cheated every day. Are you cheating? Like, cheating does not benefit you. It does not benefit you, right? So, stop cheating. That's all I will say about that. Be consistent. Set your mind on the length of time that you're going to do this, and then do it consistently for that period of time. Stop starting over. Okay, so I got a question. What can I expect to happen? I talked a little bit about that, but what I think you could really expect to happen is for your inflammation to go down immediately. I have seen people who are on scooters get up and start walking within a week of being on carnivore. I have seen people reverse their diabetes within a very short period of time on carnivore. I've seen people improve their kidney function within a very short period of time on carnivore. So there's lots of things that you can expect to happen. If you're concerned about keto flu, make sure you're supplementing with electrolytes. For sure. That's something I would recommend it for everybody. I know that not all influencers will recommend that for everybody, but I do. When I start my people on coaching, I give them a free bag of electrolytes when they start coaching with me, because I want to make sure that they're supplementing with electrolytes and avoiding keto flu. So what you can expect to happen is it's life changing. Life changing. At 90 days carnivore, I, for the first time, felt what they call the carnivore zen, where my mind was just calm. I felt this generalized sense of well being in myself. I no longer had these racing thoughts. I was no longer obsessing about food at 90 days on carnivore. So the anxiety went way, way down. I mean, I was able to get in my car and drive myself places, and not freak out because of the shadows on the road or things flashing on the side. Just insanity that I was dealing with after 90 days on board. Like I said, eliminated IBS, eliminated hypertension, no longer being overweight, anxiety almost completely gone. Now, there were a couple of things that I did that caused things to come back. One is the dairy. I was eating a lot of cheese when I first started. So I come to find out that I really have a sensitivity to, I can't have cheese and sour cream and all of those things. I can do some butter, particularly like brown butter or ghee. Those are really work well for me. And so that's something, but it took 2.5 years for me to figure that out, because I'm telling y'all, I was not giving up cheese, period. Cause like, what is a cheeseless life? What is it? Is it worth living? And so, I had to just give it up because it was really causing me problems. A couple of weeks ago, you might have seen my short video where I went to Indian food for lunch with my team. And all of the food was covered with vegetables. And I tried to scrape the stuff off, and I ate a little bit of the meat. It was so much spices, which absolutely love Indian food. So, so good. The spices are delicious. I love them. But after I ate that, blisters in my hands. I cannot tolerate plants like that. So, and then the green leafies like cilantro, parsley, mint, all of those cause my anxiety to flare up. So, what are the plants actually doing to you? You will not figure this out unless you give them up. Okay. And so that is the thing that I would love to see everyone be able to experience, right? So we're gonna wrap it up unless you guys have any more questions. I did not see. Hopefully, Dunkers, Stefan, I was able to answer your question effectively. If you want to reach out to me, you can feel free to do that. You guys go to my website. I want to talk a little bit about impact. I'm super excited. I'm sorry, on TikTok, I'm not able to show you guys the flyer, but I'll tell you what it says. So, Impact 2026 Meet Up and Eat Up with Carnivorous Grandma and Friends is going to be here in Kalamazoo, Michigan on September 5th, 2026, starting at 11 o'clock. 11 to 4 is the main event. I want to tell you guys that if you want to see the Healing Humanity movie that Carrie Mann and the team, and I was part of that team, y'all, have put together, that movie is going to be screened at Impact this year. I'm so excited about that. And so, as part of your ticket to Impact, you will get an opportunity to see that documentary. We're going to have Dr. Kiltz and Dr. Nelson. Nurse Laura is going to be here on site. We've got my daughter, Ariana Heron. She's a physician's assistant. And then we've got lots of influencers coming on to be part of this event and come and tell you a little bit of their story. But the big deal is you guys are going to get a chance to see Healing Humanity. And so I'm super excited about that. I'm thankful to the Healing Humanity team for bringing that forward and allowing us to show it at Impact. And so I'm very, very excited about it. I hope to see you there. So hopefully you guys can go out to my website, or I hope you scanned that QR code over here on Facebook and TikTok. Get your tickets. Bring somebody with you that is not a carnivore. Or maybe you're not a carnivore. Bring somebody with you so they can learn about the life-changing experience that carnivore is and elimination of sugar. So I hope everybody is doing well. I will be back next Saturday night. And I think I'm going to be in the kitchen. So if you guys have any suggestions, proposals for anything that you want to have cooked, let me know. And we will go ahead and have do a cooking show next weekend. Want to invite you to come out and be and see Hey Sister Girl. It's on YouTube. This is a YouTube only, YouTube and Facebook only. So Hey Sister Girl is Monday night at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So I hope to see you guys there. And my friend G, she's still out on the cruise. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go on and take it forward. All right, everybody. I hope y'all have a good Saturday night, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.